Hey guys, welcome back to another Final Cut Pro tutorial. Today we're talking about transition adjustment layers, which is a brand new way to add transitions into Final Cut Pro. It's going to completely change how you work with Final Cut Pro on a day-to-day basis. It's just going to open up a world of possibilities with transitions. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. I highly recommend you stay tuned for this one. So once you open up Final Cut Pro, you're going to want to install transition adjustment layers as a title file. To open up your titles, you're going to come up here to the top right, click these 6 boxes, which shows the browser, and on your left hand side, if you scroll down, you can see transition adjustment layers here, and it's one of many that are included inside the Ultimate Bundle, which is every single Final Cut Pro plugin we do just for $99. I'll leave the link in the description for you guys to check that one out. So today we're working with these skiing clips. They're awesome clips, but a couple of transitions might make these pop a little bit more and we can make a really dynamic sequence out of it. So I'll show you how easy it is to use transition adjustment layers. If you take a look at our pack, you can see it's split into 3 parts: in, out, and smooth motion blur. The in section of this pack, this goes on the first half of the transition. So for this one, I'm going to take bottom left, I'm going to drag it down, I'm going to drop it on the end of our first clip where we want the transition to start. I'm then going to navigate to the out section, and you can see I've got another bottom left. I'm going to drag that right next to the first one that I just placed down, and I'm going to put this at the start of the next clip that I want it to transition into. So let's see how that looks. That looks really cool. It's so easy to do. We just literally dragged and dropped 2 things. So the top tip here is just to make sure you're always dragging the one that corresponds with the first one. So bottom left, you go to bottom left. If you wanted to have zoom in, you would also do zoom in on the second one. If I wanted to make these slower or faster, I simply just have to drag them out to the left or the right. I recommend trying to make them about the same sort of length, because that way you're going to have one half not be faster or slower than the other half. You simply select the transition layer, you come over to the right hand side and you click these 3 slider icons, which shows the inspector. You come over here to this T icon and you can see we've got a slider that says strength. Dragging this down will make the transition go a little less far when it moves off to the side or up or down. But I quite like it up at 100, and it makes it really dynamic, which is what we're going for with this sequence. Now, just to finish this off and really add a little professional touch, I'm just going to add a little bit of motion blur, and the cool thing about this pack is it comes with 3 preloaded motion blurs. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see we've got low, mid, and high, and these basically do what they say on the tin. Low has a low motion blur, mid has a medium strength motion blur, and high is very, very heavy motion blur. My favourite is mid, so I'm going to drag mid onto the top, or a top tip, you can select the title and you can press Q and that drops it onto the timeline for you. And now if you watch that back, you can see that the motion blur just smooths it out a little bit and adds a bit of cinematic finish, which I think is really professional and so easy. And I'll show you that back to back, one with and one without, so you can see the difference. So you might be wondering why this is better than a standard transition file where you would just put a transition between 2 clips. And the reason for that is anything below our transition layers here is going to be part of our transition. So if I add a title, so I've built out a quick title sequence here, which basically introduces our film that we're going to be doing. And you can see with my titles below the transitions, it makes it really easy for these titles to be animated in the same way that the camera is moving with the transition, which is a pretty tricky effect to get right, and if you get it wrong, it just looks so wrong so quickly. So having it do it automatically for you is a huge bonus. One thing that's really effective in filmmaking is to use speed ramps to go from one clip to another, so you would have the clip speed up at the end, and the clip it's going into would speed up at the start and then immediately slow down. But with normal transitions, it makes it really hard to make these adjustments on the fly. I'm going to show you how that is really easy to achieve with this pack. So while this rider is in the air, we have a lovely slow motion clip. I'm going to click Shift B here with the clip selected, and then you can change the speed either by dragging this right hand side over, and I'm going to get it to about 400%, or you can click this drop down box and you can go down to fast, and if you select 4 times, that will be 400%. We can change where we want it to start speeding up by dragging this left or right. That will make it a faster or a shorter speed ramp. I like having quite a long one, so it's quite natural. Let's just see how that looks. So you can see it's slow motion and it speeds up. Then what I want to happen is the next clip, I want the clip that it's going into to start fast and then slow down. So what I'm going to do is going to come in a little bit into on this clip. I'm going to click Shift B where I want the split to happen. I'm going to come to the drop down box. I'm going to go fast 4 times. and now we've got fast going into fast and then back into slow motion. So let's see how that looks. I might actually make this even faster, so I might go to about 600%. Yeah, I think that's looking really cool. So now if I come back to the transition adjustments layer pack, I'm going to go again with the bottom left transition that we had. I'm going to click Q, I'm going to drag that to the end of the first clip, then I'm going to go to the out part of the pack, click Q again, and I'm going to drag that to the first part of the second clip. So now you can see we have this lovely speed ramp sequence going on beneath our transition. And the real bonus here is if we find that it doesn't work so well or there's something we want to change, it's as simple as just going in and dragging it. I've added our title sequence back in. I'm just going to build out this sequence a little more so we've got a couple more clips and just see what we end up with. Nice, that took me 2 minutes. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so hopefully you're as excited about this pack as I am. It's really going to open up your editing and allow you to do things you couldn't do before with traditional transitions. I'm going to leave the link in the description for you guys to check this one out. We can't wait to see what you do with this one, so stay creative and we'll see you in the next video.